All right, welcome back to another episode of Kameo Podcast here with Steven Puhallo, who used to be the executive director of the North Shore BIA,
Yes.
which is when I met him.
For about 4 years.
And he actually treated me to my first moonwalk, which I was last night for my mother-in-law's birthday.
If you don't leave full, you're not trying.
I didn't have pho.
No, if you don't leave full.
Oh, yeah. There was 10 of us. We got like the dinner for
Like 10,000
8.
dishes of whatever. Yeah.
And it was
fill you
like,
up.
yeah, it was insane. And it was affordable, too. It was like $110 for like 10 people or whatever it'd be,
50
right?
pounds of food by the time you get
it's
through
insane.
it all. They're fantastic.
I'm not even sponsored by them, but I just wanted to like I'm just excited because like the North Shore is like popping right now. And, you know, I worked with you on some North Shore projects in the past. I registered as a BC Liberal to support you in your run for MLA, though I don't know if I consider myself a BC Liberal anymore.
Well, I'll, first off, this is the first chance I think I've had to see you and sit down for a while, and so congratulations on the new one.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are great parents. I've been
I'm a
on
horrible
Facebook.
father.
No, you're not.
I'm a shit father.
No, you're not.
Trust me.
If you love and care for it and want the best for it, you're a great father. Anyway, so congratulations to you two. About the North Shore, how it's going. You know, it started back in '83 or '88, and it's been a lot of progressive people taking consecutive steps to build something here. And it's gone off the official community plan a couple times. But at the same time, you have to be able to adapt to things. I'm so happy for Jeremy and Bryce and the rest of the crew and what they're doing, what they're able to keep on building. It's a really great feeling when you put your heart and soul deeply into something, to see the next person who comes in has the same heart and soul, want and need and desire to do it. It makes you feel better. You have no regrets when you leave it in good hands.
Yeah, and you gotta take those creative risks too.
Yes.
Right? And I think we see that happening all over the place with a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs on the North Shore, right?
Yeah.
So
when you tell your wife, oh, hey, I'm going to quit my day job and go launch an online social gaming site, are you in? And she takes a little sip of wine.
Doesn't go over well.
Yeah.
I've been in the same boat.
Yeah.
Wow. So just to fill in the audience real quick a bit more about Steven Puhallo's past, there is a road named after his family.
My grandpa, the Sealed Ranch in West Side.
They've been here for a long, long time.
Our kids are 5th generation.
And, he created an online bingo,
poker, casino, full casino roulette, money ball, money games, social gaming. So it's not
entertainment industry.
Entertainment, yeah.
Which I'm obsessed with, and it blows my mind how much money there's in the entertainment industry.
It's pretty good.
And I see you're wearing your patch, but you recently let me know that things have changed.
Well, we just we went through a very interesting business transfer with one of the bigger competitors, and that's about it. So looking for the next big challenge.
So it's gone.
Cowboy Gaming still exists.
It still exists. You're just not involved anymore.
Yeah.
Which, like, I remember when you first started working with like Peter at Mastermind, filming because it was this whole video arcade experience. I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, it was neat. His green screen facility up there is fantastic. He keeps on building onto it.
Yeah,
I don't think people in this town understand the infrastructure that they have up there at Masterminds,
or the lack of infrastructure Hollywood needs to actually bring the billions with a B of dollars that they didn't get last year.
Yes,
because we didn't have the facilities.
Yes,
it's insane.
And the fact that he's doing it as an entrepreneur is, I think, really applaudable. Too many times you'll see someone who's like, well, I got to get this loan from government, or I should get this grant from government. Well, government's not the solution to your problems. One of the worst things you can ever hear is, I'm from government, I'm here to help.
Well, you have to also understand Peter's background is like he created ASL way back in the day with a couple other Kamloops guys, right?
Yep.
Which, for those who don't know, was the online automotive website company for Canada that had 80% of the market for online auto sales. They now have like 20%.
It's fascinating, and we have a lot of really diverse and cool. I don't like Fonzarelli cool entrepreneurs and business people in this town, and ones who, like Jason Keane at Kane's Independent. He could have started a store anywhere he wanted to, right? He came home, came to the North Shore, started it there, You have people that you see the buildings rising up here, the new development that's coming into the North Shore, all across Kamloops. Half of this is people who have staked their claim and made it their home. The other half are people returning home. Jen and I moved back here in October 2011 to raise our 2 girls, Sophia and Josephine. They're 5 and 7. Love them to death, and it's the best place to live, work, and play. I mean, I can't. We've been everywhere. Jen and I have traveled a lot, and Kamloops, for all its faults, is still one of those places that you have a lot of amenities and services that you would get in a 100,000 person town, but you haven't lost that small town feel as well.
Yeah.
And there's still some small town pettiness that comes with that.
Oh, totally.
But that's neither here nor there. The drama, you just walk past it, get your no drama bubble going, and bounce off, right?
Oh, man. Some people say I just start drama, and other people just won't touch me with a 10-foot pole. That's fine. That's fine. That's Kamloops, But it is, yeah.
But one of the funnest things I think about what you're doing, what you've done, and getting to know you and Kayla over the last little while. I guess,
FYI,
3 or 4 years.
Steven Puhallo also helped Kayla get her job.
I gave a reference.
Gave a reference.
Yeah.
You also gave me the nudge, though, that there was a job opening up.
Yes.
So that's a key part. So
you want good people to be doing good things, right?
Yeah. And so, anyways, I'm just trying to. I want to make people understand the small town connections.
Yeah.
That this place really has, and how they spider out, and how impactful being part of this community really is, depending on which niche you're a part of, right?
Yeah.
Because you are part of the cowboy bull riding niche, which
Yes.
I'm clearly not a part of.
No, you're not. But we gotta get you out to one.
Oh man, I honestly, I think I would give bull riding a go if my wife gave a thumbs up.
No, you would never. I would never put you on a professional bucking bull. I like you
Not
too
a
much.
professional one.
No, you can try. You can try a motorized one. You can try It takes you use muscles that you never knew you had. You use stamina and endurance and muscle memory. Like these.
No, I want to get the shit kicked out of me and knocked out.
You're like what are those guys called? Remember he did that one scene where you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd and they let the buffalo out.
No.
What are those guys called? They always crash each other.
Oh, jackass?
Yeah, that's a jackass move.
Oh, totally.
On your part, especially with a little boy.
Little girl,
Little
yeah.
girl, sorry, yeah.
Well, I still want to run like a 70-foot waterfall.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But you look at where professional bull riding has come since there was 7 or 8 professional bull riders in the world rodeo industry who decided that they wanted to do something just for bull riders to help develop, train, and bring medical services to bear on professional bull riders. And they formed the Professional Bull Riders Association. So that was in the early 90s. Everyone, all of them, it was in a hotel room, I think in Austin, Texas somewhere. They all kicked in a couple $1,000 and they started PBR. It eventually morphed, evolved, and got bought out by a large marketing company. It is what it is today. It's the fastest growing sport revenue and audience-wise in the world. It's fantastic. And so you have it now where it's as professionalized as hockey is. Right, and you have different tiers. Where we play and where we do our stuff is with Bull Riders Canada. Now, Bull Riders Canada is a very awesome organization run by very good people, and what they've done is they've seen that there's a big gap between for young bull riders who are coming out of high school rodeo or BC Rodeo Association, right, the amateur level stuff, between that and the ranked bulls of the PBR. So Bull Riders Canada is kind of the AAA baseball to the PBR's major leagues. So you'll have guys who scoop right through it. The person who won our first event we did up in Barrier, Zane Lambert, went on to become PBR champion for Canada. You have other people kind of going between the two of them, right? Jackson Scott's doing that now. And then you have people who just kind of stay in the Bull Riders Canada level. And the big part of the mission statement for Bull Riders Canada is to make an affordable sanctioning body for small towns across Canada. They go from Nova Scotia to BC. Now they're into Montana as well. They have 88 shows every year.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's big.
It's huge.
Yeah, and it's run by 2 great people out of Alberta, Russell and Jennifer. And the big part of it too is health and well-being for the young riders, right?
Well, CTE and whatnot must be huge in the bull riding.
It is, and so teaching them about why wearing a helmet, getting a helmet on, taking care of your injuries, recognize the industry is one of the hardest things about growing up on a cattle ranch and in the cowboy culture is you weren't allowed to get hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Just walk it off.
Oh, it's
You're
just like
tough.
the guiding industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get hurt, you don't get paid the next day. Right? So don't get hurt. Or if you get hurt,
walk it off.
Walk it off.
Yeah.
I decided not to wear shoes one day guiding. Dumb idea.
That was a really dumb idea, Nevin.
Messed up my toe real
I
good.
would guess so.
So I had to tape it.
Yeah.
I had to tape it up and walk it off.
Yeah, and so teaching these right across, it's right across rodeos, not just bull riding, but right across rodeos is teaching these young people how to manage their winnings, how to make their own personal business out of it.
That's interesting. Managing their winnings.
Yes, that's very big.
Because like in any entertainment industry, right?
Yeah.
Like I come from the hip hop side a little bit more.
Me not so
much. But it's break. Well, the cowboy rap hip hop world is set to explode, especially in.
It's really exciting, actually.
And I got some people I should send your way.
Yeah.
But like, it's boom or bust, right?
Yes.
Like they either have money and then they're broke.
Yeah.
Right. So that's very interesting that you're actually like taking a proactive thing of like, hey guys, let's create a sustainable career.
There are actually 4-H clubs for rodeo kids because 4-H was meant to teach young people how to manage. 4-H Canada, right? Head, Heart, Hands, and Health, the agricultural youth organization.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like Girl Guides for farmhands.
No, it's for kids.
Yeah, but you know, I'm trying to put it in translation.
Oh, okay.
I come from city where we don't have 4-H.
So when agriculture was the biggest industry in Canada and in North America, 4-H was founded, and it stands for Head, Heart, Hands, and Health. And it was to take young kids and teach them how to manage a farm or an agricultural industry or company, right? That's when agriculture was 80% of the income. Not so much now. So now you can get into 4-H by doing, if you want to do photos and learn how to do photos, if you want to do crafts, any kind of craft or anything like that, you can get into 4-H for it. And it's not just beef and sheep and horses anymore. It's really expanded. And what the rodeo clubs in 4-H do is what they do with the beef and sheep club members, the livestock ones, is teach them how to manage it as a business.
That's cool.
So growing up as someone who showed beef cattle, we were taught how to measure out our animals, check for their daily gain, make sure they were getting enough food and stuff, and they were going to meet their market return, right, for being built out for slaughter. And we were taught how to manage that income and stuff like that. We were taught how to manage a ranch or a farm. What they're doing with kids who are into photography or into whatever that they want to produce or have as a hobby or as a side gig, they teach them how, this is what your photo may be worth, this is what you may want to do prints from it. And so when you go to the BC Agricultural Exposition up in Barrier this September, and you have the sale day, you don't just have sheep and beef and stuff like that come through. You have photos.
Yeah, because I've seen like photos by Bree or she's I think comes from that world.
So they'll come through the ring and people can bid on them. I bought one last year for $150, right?
Oh wow!
I probably wouldn't go to the store and buy it, but you support kids and you help out 4-H, and it's fantastic. So what has happened in rodeo, and it's been the last 15 years, is it's really become so much more family focused. I mean, it always was, but to where kids are being taught how to manage their winnings, how to use their winnings, how to plan ahead, especially like if you're a barrel racer or a team roper, where you have the management of the equine partner in the team as well, right? It's a symbiotic relationship. And so how do you manage your mileage, your trailer, your gas, everything else like that, your diesel? So and going back to Bull Riders Canada, a big part of what Bull Riders Canada is about is to have the health professionals there to help them, with bruises and sprains and stuff like that. I mean, the injury rate for professional bull riders is 35%, right? That's probably on a good day. I think that's a bit low. And so
we Websters are built tough. I'm gonna start training Everly through 4-H.
But it goes back to that whole thing that you can teach a kid how to play, but you want to teach a kid how to prosper.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And so taking them from when they're starting at a younger age or even in their teens, and that, yes, you want to be competitive, you want that championship buckle, you want the prestige and the honor, but it's also part of that bigger family network where you want to be able to help people out. One of the things that rodeo is very cool is you'll have a guy who makes a great bull ride, gets 86 points, leading the event, and you'll see the two guys he travels with who just got bucked off, cheering and giving him a high five and his fist bump and just being really happy for him.
Totally.
And not saying, "Oh, I got to kick his ass," right? It's a great family environment,
it's
and that's
the
kind
community
of
over competition.
It is very much
right?
so. It's great.
It's like whitewater kayaking too, right? You're best friends with whoever's going to win, right? As long as there's no like.
Well, you hope you're best friends before, not just because they won.
Yeah, of course, right? But it's happening in the hip hop world as well, right? Where the online forum I'm part of is starting to figure out, okay, if we actually work together rather than fighting each other, wow, we can create a lot more.
You can go a lot farther, a lot faster when everyone crosses the finish line together. Totally. That's incredibly important. And when you take an individual sport or an individual industry and you're able to make either formal or informal teamwork out of it, share resources, and work together, you go far, far farther. I mean, you ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind?
Remind me of the plot.
It was Russell Crowe. He had severe mental problems, but he was a brilliant mathematician. And he came up with a theory that instead of competition through the Adam Smith model, if you work together and be able to work together, You can go a lot farther. It's business 101, right?
Yeah.
If an orange is for sale, you need inside the orange, and someone else needs outside the orange. You partner, and you both get what you want.
Totally.
If you were to try to outbid each other, you would just make the other person either more wealthy or less wealthy, right? Whereas if you share it as a team atmosphere, and are able to build those bridges and those partnerships across either competitive or special interests, everyone's so much better for it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Right now in the forum that I'm part of, there's a tournament, but it went a little sour because there was some like underhandedness and whatever. So now there's drama out of it, so that it's just hilarious entertainment. But that's hip hop, and that's part of it. What part of the entertainment industry do you think Kamloops needs to learn or understand more?
Kamloops needs to get back to its country roots. It's a crying shame that we don't have a country bar here. After Cactus Jack's kind of transferred over to a more modern style of music.
Yeah, it's definitely going after the younger
yeah.
crowd, but they did bring the Trues in.
Oh yeah, no, like
right?
they still have a country venue that they use there. There's a lot of people who have talked about it, who have looked at it. I looked at it. I don't think I have the time or energy to start a bar right now at this point, but there's a niche there, and it's a very big niche. I mean, you look at what they do over at Pogue Mahone's, the hoedowns, those sell out within days.
Yeah, Pogues is unbelievable for events. I actually recorded an episode there recently.
Nice.
I love Pogues.
Oh, I love them too. I can't have their Pogues shows though, because I have to like get a wheelbarrow under my belly. Like, oh, so big. One of the biggest things I think Kamloops needs to do, and hopefully they get this going out at the Kamloops Race Center, the old racetrack there's no reason why a town of our size, with our background, shouldn't have an agriplex facility. You look at Armstrong. I mean, they're a far smaller town with us, far less resources, and they have one of the best agricultural facilities in the province.
Well, just the tourism aspect of it alone.
Millions and millions of dollars pass this town every year because we don't have the right facilities. We don't have large facilities. You can't put on a professional event here. Trying to put it on in an arena is twice as hard because there's so many sheets short for ice in this town. It's a hockey town.
Yeah.
That trying to get in those 4 days to where you have to take out the ice, put in the dirt, take out the dirt, clean the facility, put the ice back in. It just can't fit into a hockey schedule. Right?
Oh, that's what they actually do? That's crazy. I thought they always just put like plates on top and then...
Some do that, and talking to people who have done it without really advanced technology on it, they've always said don't do it because you'll end up freezing it through, right?
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, it's because they're so overbooked for the ice time, right? And for those facilities already in use, it's hard to find. I mean, to take 4 days out of the schedule is very hard, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll work out one day, but we're missing so many. I mean, there are national and international events that go to Barrier and Armstrong and don't come to Kamloops because
Barrier and Armstrong.
Yeah, yeah, and we don't have them in Kamloops, right? And it's a crying shame.
Totally. When you say the racetrack, you mean the one over by
the old Sagebrush Downs, yeah, the Mount Paul Center.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's just a shame because you look at it and it's like huge. It's beautiful, but it's just overgrown with weeds.
Well, there's a new leasee operator there, and hopefully they can make something happen. I really hope they do. But until then, we'll keep these events in small areas like Armstrong and Barrier and Abbotsford. But
the pop-up atmosphere is kind of exciting, though, too, in a lot of these events.
It is, but you can't build an event, and an event will get sour if you can't expand it, right?
True.
And Barrier seats 1,000 people. And pulling people up there and getting sponsors for that area is very hard, especially on New Year's Eve in the middle of winter.
Oh, yeah.
You look at Abbotsford, you look at Merritt, you look at everywhere around us has facilities, but Kamloops should be leading the way when it comes to a center for excellence for agrisport and for agriculture.
Makes sense.
It does.
It makes a lot of sense. But there's a lot of projects in this town, right? People want the public market, and I'm like, okay, well, why doesn't the private sector just fulfill that need, right?
Yeah.
Like, if there is all these needs, the private sector should come together. I don't really understand how a referendum works where you say no and then they come back.
Well, I mean, on the referendum, the first one that was defeated mostly by the North Shore and Rayleigh and the outlying areas, right? If you have to borrow over a certain amount, the community charter says you have to put that to a vote of the people.
Yeah.
Right, and that's to keep there's been municipalities in the past, not so much Kamloops, who have gone overboard, right, and put themselves into serious debt.
Yeah, I just don't understand, like,
Kamloops
if the referendum said no, how's it back to...
But Kamloops moved backwards and quit being as competitive as Kelowna has been when we got rid of when the people voted down the multi-use centers. What the multi-use center was in the early 90s, 92, 93, somewhere like that, was to take Riverside Park and the whole area and have a convention center, hotel, Coliseum, and it was this awesome development project there, right? And it would cost
Riverside Park.
pennies, yes. And so the people voted it down, which was a huge lack of vision on their part. But that's the will of the people. We're in a democracy, right?
Yeah.
So it took us another 10 years.
That would have been like the cowboy families, though, too, right? Not the newer income.
No. This was so Riverside Coliseum.
Yeah.
They kept on pushing that, right? Now Sandman Center. So that was one of the parts of it. So that had to come on by its own for way more than it would have cost back then.
Oh, you're not talking the actual, like, it's not going to be along the shoreline. Like, and we're not replacing the park with...
No. It's everything that's built around it was all part of that original plan back in the early 90s.
Got it.
The Sandman Center, having a bigger conference center there, because we need a bigger conference center here, that was all part of it. And that set us back 20 years, right? And so when you look at the Performing Arts Center, yes, Counts needs one. Yes, Counts should have one. But it's a long-term maintenance that kills you, right?
Yeah.
You can get businesses or entrepreneurs or philanthropists who donate this, donate that, donate this, donate that. But unless you have that long-term maintenance on it, right, and know what the costs are going to be to maintain it, that's where it's going to bite you, right? And I don't think I was really surprised at how lackluster the Yes side was last time around. They had some really cool logos and put out some neat ads, but they weren't pounding the pavement like they did for the Tournament Capital Project. Tournament Capital Project, you had every sports team, everyone involved in sports, talking to their neighbors, their friends, their associates, their relatives, their everyone, right? And it came together out of the big Canada Games momentum that we had, and you had the Tournament Capital Center project. But I didn't feel that, and I think one of the reasons it got voted down is because you didn't have the arts community really pick up the flag. You didn't even have city councilors at the time pick up the flag and go for it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of like, oh, we're not too sure about it, and the price is big. So I think what they're doing now, where they're reaching out to a lot of people, hopefully they've reached out to the no side as well from the last referendum. Everyone has to come together, and I think the arts community in this town needs to really get involved and have something to sell that people will be able to understand and take and realize what it's for. That it's not just frills and gimmicks, but that here's the economic reason behind it, here's the cultural reason behind it. I mean, there's a certain balance between two things. Where free enterprise and government meet, that's where the magic happens.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I agree completely, right? Like, I'm building a digital performing arts center through a podcast. That's literally what
it's cool.
The internet gives me the opportunity to.
Yeah.
But do I also want to see a podcasting studio open up and possibly that ARPA development thing? Because they want to do some sort of arts and culture science thing, which is really, really cool. That's free enterprise. That's no government. Well, I guess there is government money because Kamloops Innovation will be a part of it. But the renting, but
that's not direct government money, right?
Yeah.
Government has invested that money into that organization. That organization goes forward and uses that money.
And that organization is not talked about enough in this town.
Oh, I totally agree. And I'm happy.
That's my roots. Right?
Yeah, I know.
That's my roots.
You and Katie.
Yeah, me and Katie. Katie Hut Plus. Katie Hut Plus.
Katie Hut Plus, if you're hearing this, we missed you dearly. We wish you were here.
February, March.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right on.
She just messaged me the other day.
Nice.
So Katie Hut Plus and I tried to start a tourism app, and it drove us to do 4 months at Kamloops Innovation Center rent-free way back in the early days. And then Katie went on to work. No, previously worked for Steven.
Yeah, at the NSBIA. She was an amazing, amazing young lady. Just dynamic, smart, fast, witty, excellent.
She is nonstop. Like people think I'm go, have not met Katie Hudfluss.
She's a dynamic, strong, leadership potential young lady, and just love her to death.
And extremely, extremely innovative.
Yes.
Right? Nothing stops that girl. So Katie, we'll get coffee, and when you come,
Go to Pogues.
Go to Pogues. Yeah, Pogues works. But yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're here at Redbeard. You should give them a plug.
I usually do give a plug, and then I start getting sponsors, and so I started replacing that.
Yeah.
And then there's also certain topics that I don't want to have them arise and have certain people plugged that make me want to pull the website, the episode, because I have one episode that is currently pulled until I do some cutting. But to be honest, it's actually one of my worst episodes ever. So
well, then we'll just leave it in the trash bin.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about?
We're talking about innovation.
You guys. So I met you through Katie. She was the summer student at NSBA in my first year.
We met actually at Business Excellence Awards. when Kamloops Innovation had a spare ticket or two, brought Katie and I along to like a $130 plate dinner.
Yeah.
I didn't have a suit, so I had to borrow my friend's suit. That was too small. And then,
I didn't notice it was too small.
And then I locked my keys in my car while I was running because I was like rushing.
Oh no!
And so I had to have like. So Katie actually drove to my wife at the hotel where she was working at the time, get my wife's keys so I could unlock the door to my house to get my spare key to unlock my car to make it to that event and eventually meet you.
If my wife was listening to this, she'd be like, "Oh my God, Steven's done that to me." Sometimes the mind works faster than the mind should.
Oh, it was like I literally had like 30 minutes between getting back from the liquor store I worked at to like getting ready for this event. And it was a big deal. Like the who's who of Kamloops, like all get together and like
it's a fantastic night. They do such a great job.
I've been 3 times now, and I've never paid once for a plate. That's how easy this town is to to rub shoulders and be like
it's very
next
accepting.
to someone.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable, and some people don't understand the power of that.
Yeah.
And some people like me sometimes abuse the power of that too. But
you test it.
I test it, yes. Yeah. But
So going back to kind of tourism and pieces like that and Kamloops Innovation Center and what we have here, we're incredibly blessed with the infrastructure we have, from Venture Kamloops to Innovation Kamloops. What they're doing up at Tourism Kamloops right now is
Community Futures.
Community Futures. The professional infrastructure we have here that's entrepreneurial based. It's just absolutely amazing. And if you get a chance to go up to Mastermind, go to their Facebook page and like them and follow them. And they do some great training. If you ever want to be an extra in a movie, they do training for that.
They do a lot of free training, really affordable training.
Yeah.
There's Ask Them Talent out of there.
I went and got mine done just in case they shoot a Star Wars movie in BC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't care if I'm just walking the way back area.
Dude, put me in a stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah. Well, Daniel Craig did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the cameo guy when The Force Awakens, when she escaped from the ship, Rey escaped from the ship. He was a stormtrooper standing there that she did the Jedi mind trick on. That was Daniel Craig.
So that would be like the ultimate meme for me.
Yeah.
Right? If I could be a stormtrooper in Star Wars, because they're so like, hey, that's me, but I look like everyone else. And I think that's the funniest thing.
It is. It would be very funny.
Because I was sharing with Steven, one of my proudest achievements was getting Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, to acknowledge a meme that I made go viral. I like memes. I think memes are hilarious. And honestly, with the Performing Arts Center or whatnot, like, you know, the right cause, you know, I can meme certain things.
The right meme will get millions. I mean, it's just incredible.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and people don't understand how easy but hard it is.
Yes.
Or how to approach it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you know, my years of internet trolling, right, since grade 3.
But you're just a rebel. I mean, you're a libertarian rebel. You love it.
I don't know if I'm libertarian. Am I libertarian?
I don't want to define you, but everything I know about you is very libertarian. Where it's
very Joe Rogan. That's unfortunate.
Well, no, not Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan, and you are you. But the one thing that I always loved about you is that, you know what, if I want to do this, I'm going to go and do this. And if there's rules against something that I believe should be done or something I want to do, I'm going to challenge them. And you're always pushing up against the fence.
Well, that's the Malcolm Gladwell outlier thing,
right?
Yeah.
I just finished reading that. My wife's reading it right now.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Shout out Malcolm Gladwell, prolific Canadian essayist.
Yes.
But they're books that are written as essays that are stories.
Yes.
And I read Blink. That was my first one by him, just because I was obsessed with just first impressions and split second and that idea of flow state and the audiobooks are great. He's got a great podcast called The Revisionist History.
Yeah, he does. And just seeing him speak is amazing. The one I liked about his when we started Cowboy Gaming was Tipping Point, right?
Ooh, Tipping Point is a great one too.
Every time we went to investors to raise money and to get this going, they're always like, what's your tipping point? What's your tipping point? That was the first thing investors ask about anything I've gone out to the market for. What's your tipping point? When do I start seeing my return? Right? What's your exit plan? So yeah, Gladwell is great. And one of the funny things is that you get that feeling too. Where you're like, okay, I knew that, but I never knew how to put that into words, right? Or how to communicate that, or how to transfer that knowledge forward. I've always known it intuitively, organically. But he's a great vehicle for being able to for you to take your thoughts and actually put it forward, because he takes it to such a common denominator of explanation.
And when you rip it back even further and you learn more about who he is, I think he's just like the most perfect example of like an honorable Canadian, because like he's half Jamaican, half Caucasian. Like his I forget which parent is actually from Jamaica, right? So he has an immigrant family, parents, right?
Yeah.
Come to Canada, lives in like Aurelia or like some farm town in Aurora or Ontario or something, right? And it's just like this amazing, I don't know, just the way he writes, like, talking about crime rates and like, man, I need to brush up on my Gladwell. It's been like, I read most of my Gladwell in high school.
Oh, really?
I couldn't do the Dave and Goliath audiobook, which a lot of people don't realize. The TNRD has a free audiobook subscription through your library card.
Really?
Yeah. So if you get a library card, you download Libby, the Libby app.
Yep.
You just put in your library card, and now you can listen to audiobooks for free.
And then we talk about infrastructure in Kamloops. I mean, the TNRD library system and their kids stuff, everything else, the place they have at the North Shore. My kids love going there.
I try and tell my wife, like, let's go to the library. She's like, no, I don't go to the library.
But that's opposite for us, because Jen's like, let's go to the library. I'm like, no, if I see a book I want, I'm just going to buy it and put it in my library, right?
See, it's just like, I always went to the library. Like, the library system in Cambridge, Ontario, and Waterloo region is amazing. Like, and they are the ones who have taken the lead in the arts and culture scene through their library, right? They're the unofficial cult leaders.
For me, like, kind of looking for the next thing to do. The one thing I found, I had a dream about this other night, is I was in a long time ago. I got to work in a great building, the Legislative Assembly in Victoria, and their library is magnificent and huge. And I remember always getting in trouble as a young ALA, because I'd always get lost in the library to start looking at books and reading them and stuff like that. I had a dream the other night where I was doing that again, right? And now they're talking about libraries. There's something to be said for just not having your phone on, not being connected to the internet, and just walking through a library and looking for the book that jumps out at you, right? The book that calls for you, taking it down and reading it and going like that, and using your intuition and your inner voice to be able to find what's going to interest me next. What do I need to learn? It's a very cool experience.
Yeah, so it's interesting with watching Kamloops, like, there's going to be a third library. It's probably going to be in Aberdeen. As exciting that is, like, okay, let's get, my opinion is, like, get more people to use the digital services first. Let's prove there's demand before we invest in the infrastructure, right? Like, that's my rational thinking, but, some people are like, oh, digital, there's too much in my life. Okay, then drive to the library, walk in.
Yes.
There's 2 great libraries. I want to see you there twice a month, because that's all you need to go.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks at a time, you can have a book.
I'm trying to teach my 7-year-old daughter how to use the dictionary, and she's like, Dad, can I just Google it? And it's like, oh, and so kind of teaching her how to look through the letters and how to gauge it and stuff like that. And if you need to know the meaning of something, let's look it up in the dictionary.
Do you have like a fat dictionary?
Oh, yeah, like an Oxford.
Yeah. So like I have a Webster's dictionary that was like a misprint.
Oh, yeah?
Or my parents do that. So it's like something's backwards.
Oh, wow.
Or just with our last name. Like it was like, and it's got like the gold ribbon on it or whatever it be. It's like, yeah, that's like the prolific. Like families should have a dictionary. I don't have a dictionary though.
One of the things that I found too is I started reading a lot of the stuff I wanted to read on my tablet. And I found it just wasn't the same tactile feeling as sitting in there with a book, right? And especially the effect on your eyes, because we're in front of screens so much during the day, whether it's our phone or tablet or sitting down at a laptop. And I found that just it relaxes my eyes, relaxes my mind, just be able to sit there and turn the pages of a book and have that feeling to it. I still catch up a lot of stuff on my tablet when I'm out and about, but there's something nice about having a coffee with some Baileys, a good book on a rainy day, and just sitting there and letting yourself get involved in the book, right?
Yeah. I have trouble focusing, obviously, but I'm like, I got all the audiobook. I'm all about the Audible, listening, because I'm always walking the dog or like doing something, or I can't sit still, but that is what it is. Well, we're like 34 minutes in. What's something we haven't chatted about that we should, put on tape, put on wax?
Well, what do you want to be when you grow up?
To be honest, I haven't even thought about like what I'm going to be after 30. Like legitimately, like my forecasting in my head cuts off. Like it doesn't exist.
Mine did to 25, and I never thought I'd make it past 25, to tell you the truth. And then I did, and then life got really great. and I hit a lot of my benchmarks, a lot of things I wanted to do. One of the funniest things about life is you may be banging up against one door and not realize the one behind you is opening.
See, that's the thing with Kamloops and the internet and whatever it be. It's like, yeah, there's certain people I don't really want to work with locally all the time. Because A, I don't want to tread on that friendship, and B, my bigger plan is global anyway. So it's like, it's understanding how I'm choosing my attention, and unfortunately no one can really understand my brain, myself included. So
one of the neat things about when you get tuned in and when you start understanding how to listen to everything around you is that you'll find things get a lot easier when you're on the right path. Things get a lot harder when you're not. And the universe always seems to find a way that if you listen to it enough and give your mind enough clear space to listen to it and get out of the jumble of Facebook and this protest or that protest or Trump this or Trump that or hatred this or hatred that or rumor this or rumor that, they can actually see things unfold and you become a lot clearer and your vision gets a lot better and you're far more tuned into what you want to do and who you want to be.
I do want to do the Camino de Santiago.
Oh.
Yeah. So you started quoting basically The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, with the whole universe, law of attraction. The universe will help fulfill whatever dreams you have, or whatever the quote is. It comes from The Alchemist. But that's why
it's a lot older than that.
It's a lot older than that? Yeah, but I do it to The Alchemist because the prolific story or whatever. Right. But the idea of doing like the long Camino de Santiago, which is like a weeks-long walk from Spain through France or whatever it be.
It's beautiful. That's on my bucket list too. If you think about it, every time, like most everyone has probably seen Kung Fu Panda, right? If you have kids or if you it's a great movie. If you look at it, every place you see, and if you've ever gone to them, monasteries are always at the top of a really frickin' steep hill. Right?
Oh, good point.
And why is that? Because by the time you get up to the top, you're exhausted, your mind is clear, you're so tired, mentally tired and physically tired, but you've also accomplished a great goal. You're feeling good about yourself, but your mind is open.
Again.
But your mind is open, right? That's why they have these big staircases before you go into a training or a school or something like that. That's a very Asian way to do it. And so your mind will be clear, you'll be exhausted, and you won't have the energy or the ability really to argue that much or to bring your own biases or prejudices to bear because you're just exhausted. Whatever you say, if I gotta wax on, wax off, I'll do that, right?
Interesting. This is the universe telling me I need to like actually do, start ultra running again. Because I talked with Dina from Oxygen Fitness, family friend, yesterday, and I'm gonna have to do the beat the buzzer.
Oh, and in 2017, I got my ass off the couch, lost 100 pounds. I feel great.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks.
You look way better than like when I remember you back in 2015 because there was like a big 2-year gap, and then I saw you in what was that? Early September, October, and you looked great then. Yeah.
So I mean, it has to be symbiotic. You're not going to have a smart mind unless you have a healthy body, because you're draining your body of resources that it needs, of oxygen, of special nutrients, and for me personally, I want to live long. I want to be able to walk my girls down the aisle if they so choose. But at the same time, too, you're not going to be able to get in touch with anything if you're not eating healthy, if you have bad habits, if you have destructive habits, or if you're not willing to say to yourself, I'm worth it. One of the biggest things I think that keeps people back is not a fear of failure, it's a fear of success. Once people realize, I think one of the scariest thing someone can realize, and I think in my experience, you block out because it's so scary, is that we're not the bone and the flesh that we're made of, right? We're the universe incarnate. Yeah. And once you accept that, and it's very hard to accept that because it's very scary to accept that.
Sending some emails back suck.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because it's going to move you forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And like I sit on emails and I don't text people back because I know it's going to push me forward. And then your hands are off the wheel. It's like Jesus take the wheel shit at that point.
Yeah.
Because you don't have control.
Yeah. Some people feel that get that connection through religion. Some people seek that connection through drugs. It's just not the right way to go.
Oh, I see it through drugs.
And some people do it through spirituality. Well, not too excessively. The biggest part, and I did that. I've sabotaged 2 great opportunities in my life because I was so scared at how awesome they were going to be. And so I totally hear what you're saying. And it's the scariest thing to take that step, but it can be the most wonderful thing in your world. But you have to be ready to do it and prepared to do it. And if you're not, and you have to, one of the hardest things to get past is your own inner voice. It says, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do that. One of the, I wish I could remember her name, but she was one of the people who got Aaron Sorkin, was with the Aaron Sorkin group who got The West Wing going, that TV show. And she was a special advisor to Clinton when he was president. And in interviews around the first season of The West Wing, behind the scenes interviews, she said, you know, it took me a lot to accept that I could do the job. She said, for the first year, I kept on expecting someone to come around the corner and say, you really have no idea what the hell you're doing, do you? And she goes, but we believed in ourselves. We believed we could. And once you hit that, there's nothing that can stop you. I mean, it's amazing what you can do, the love you can feel, the love you can give, and the openness you can have in your heart once you accept that you are the universe incarnate, and it's your job to go out and experience it.
Excuse me.
You're fine. There's my sermon for the day. Sorry. I just truly believe that.
Went to church. No, I believe that too. And everyone has their own way of expressing it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, usually I just say the universe.
Premier Campbell used to end all his speeches with a saying by Goethe, whatever you think you can or dream you can, begin it. For boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. I always thought that was a cool way to end a speech.
Yes, cool. Well, we'll end it there then.
Okay.
It's a cool way to end that there. Thank you, Steven. Where can people find you if keep in touch with your creative works, whatever you're up to?
Well, all our URLs are down right now. But
you're on Twitter, though.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. You can follow me at Twitter. I think it's at Steven Puhallo. I don't tweet that much. I keep on getting told I should do that more.
Twitter is popping if you know like the right conversations to find.
Yes.
Right?
And then Facebook, Steven Puhallo, I'm there as well. And I'm on Instagram too.
Oh, yeah. 3. All right. Well, thank you once again.
Yeah, happy to be on. And I'm so happy you're doing this. This is a fantastic service. And I've been keeping up on the podcast. I've learned a bunch about Instagram the other day.
Oh, man.
So
Instagram is huge. But the organic reach is going to get turned off very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Just like it did with Facebook.
Yeah. 93% of influencer spending was on Instagram last year.
Wow.
So people who are not invested heavily in Instagram right now, which I've messed around with Instagram so much that like people are like, what are you doing, Nevin? I'm like, don't worry about it. Anyways, if you're new to the podcast, please consider subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts, or check out kameo.transistor.fm/subscribe. And iTunes reviews help if you are someone who is in the Apple universe. And thank you so much for tuning in Kamloops Unscripted Podcast. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.